Welcome everyone to a Pet Messages reading. I felt like I would do a bit of a pick a deck or pick a pile, pick a card reading to see why your pet is a little miffed with you or, a little discontented. Maybe they're giving you silent treatment, side eye. Who knows, right? Maybe they're huffing a bit. I will do charms as well just to help elaborate on the message. I will timestamp below pile 1, 2, or 3, but you can pause the video here if you need a little bit more time to tune in and see where your beloved pet or pets are drawing you to receive their messages today, and see if we can figure out and correct this bond you have and make them feel better. Who knows? Maybe they just need an apology that we don't know we didn't say to them. So I'm an organic reader. You're going to see me just move things away on screen. I am going to use all 3 decks, however, in the readings. I am drawn to kind of use the cards. So kind of just set up here a little bit. All right. So welcome to everyone who's drawn to pile number 1. I'm going to use a combination of cards, but let's start off with getting a general message here, general theme, regardless of your pet species. If you've drawn to this deck, it's because they are all feeling or have a similar sentiment right now with you as it relates to why, all of us have, just like humans, we all have reasons to be a little miffed, right? Maybe I'll do 3. Maybe there's like three kind of main topics here. We don't want to overwhelm ourselves, and I don't think our pets are that upset with us that often. Okay, so that'll be our main card, since that's the deck we're drawn to. But let's get a card each here from the other piles, just to further elaborate. Your pets, why are you a little upset here with your pet parent, your owners? Maybe they're upset with a sibling pet that's in the household, another pet that's in the household. Or maybe they're not liking the weather. I know my Chihuahua has not been happy with the amount of rainy days we've had consecutively recently, because he does enjoy his WALKs. I spelt it because he's in earshot, and all of you know how much dogs like that word. Okay, I'm just going to rearrange the order because we're starting with our chosen pile card first to kind of lead us off. Now let's get the charm. Okay. Just tune into your pet soul's energy. What grievances do you have with us? And I say us because I definitely include myself. I'm always interested in knowing why my puppy may not be pleased with me. Just like we are in any kind of relationship, right? Okay. So a bit talkative on each pile here. We have a balanced combination of 4 charms each here. There's definitely a stopping of something. So silent treatment group. Maybe you're the group that are dealing with animals kind of giving you the backside, looking back over their shoulder at you. If you are on your WALK, they might be just strutting along and not really paying attention to you, regardless of what you're saying, right? There's something about you deciding to, maybe there's a feeling that you're putting yourself first here, and you're putting a bit of a pause on your time with them. So, or you're choosing to hang out, socialize more with others, and there's a pause here on time with them. So, they have no interest in your conversation. I really kind of feel that. Like, I feel like if you're like me, where you kind of get up in your pet's face and you like to chat with them and sing to them, like there's no patience for that right now. I'm definitely feeling I'm gonna get up and move from this space and I'm going to go sit on the couch over there. I'm going to go sit on the bed over there kind of energy. Okay. Oh yeah, authority. Look at their arms folded here. You know, it's almost that like, how dare you? Like, what is going on? What is this? You know, their lips are sealed. You know, I'm getting that silent treatment again. Also that pushback, right? I was saying they were just strutting here, right? Moving forward with authority, ignoring your commands, ignoring that you're even talking to them or trying to pet them or cuddle them. Like, I truly do feel like if you tried to cuddle them, they would, you know, wiggle away, jump away. They have no time for you. Like, you have no time for me, I have no time for you. Oh, upside down. The Magician. I'm coming out of my weekly numbers reading, and when there was talk about transformation. So they probably feel the energy, you know, animals are susceptible to energy. Look at all these angels around. I did catch my dog staring off more often and a few more times this past week. You might be catching the same. You know, your pet might be catching their attention elsewhere, and they're kind of seeing this increase of angel traffic coming through and around you, and maybe that's why they're upset. You know, like, who are these new people? I did say that, right? The socialization. You're putting yourself first. You're putting this transformation first. You kind of have to. I don't think any of us can really ignore. But let's see. You know, maybe these cards will let us know how we can let our pets better understand that we're going through a transformation right now. We're not purposely ignoring them. Just moving the cards up, I realize I have a lot of room up here in the camera. I wonder why I went so low. Okay. Oh, the solar plexus chakra. You know, radiant illumination. We have the Magician. We have this halo. You know, pictured here around your pet here. Completely coincidentally, you know, no preparation for this reading whatsoever. I did do a solar plexus Reiki this morning. I haven't been focused in on that area, but there was like this need to kind of tune it up, I guess. I got kind of drawn into the tuning up of the solar plexus, so you might want to do that as well. You might also be getting distance from your pet because they're going to be able to feel that energy, right? They're going to see this change in your aura. It's not just the angel energy, it's your energy. You are changing a bit. You know, they noticed it here with their folded arms. They know something's up. I know something's up. Something's up with you. Pet owner, something is up with you. But you're getting stronger. You know, in their eyes, they can see that this is a glow up. This is a better version of you that's coming forward here. Maybe this is also just impatience. Like, why the heck haven't you finished this yet? What's taking so long? What is taking so long to transform? And maybe I said that because the howling wolf here is very much being vocal about your opinion kind of on the matter, right? Like, what the heck? There's this lovely woman that shares videos of her 3 huskies. I wish I could remember her name. I think it might be something like Karen, to be honest, not to tap into that trend, but you know, she says one little thing, or I'm going to the bathroom, and like the 3 huskies just set each other off, right? Like, oh my gosh, you know, why are you going to the bathroom? We're going for a walk, right? So your pet might be also acting that way. If they're not giving you silent treatment, there's some vocal complaining here. Now this is my cuddly teddy bear. This is the comforting teddy bear. So, you know, maybe continue forcing those hugs anyways. You know, keep forcing the eye contact, right? Get in really close and low to them, or lift them up high if it's a bird, a gecko, you know, a gerbil, you know, whatever you have. If they're tiny, lift them up, bring them close, but lock in. Do some eye to eye, not just the pet in the cuddles, like a quick hug or rub on the shoulders or chest or back. Like they're really drawing me in here on the bear's face. Maybe there's when we talked through telepathy with our pets, which we all do. Maybe that's what they're drawing me in here. Use your third eye with them. Connect in through the third eye so that they have that understanding, right? Because this is also a sign of understanding. If this is your pet handing you a teddy bear as to comfort you through the transformation. But let's lock some eyes here. Let's get our complaining pets understanding that this is a new start. That's what this is. The new start also affects them. And maybe that's also why they're complaining. Let's move this along faster. It is affecting me, right? Maybe it's a new place. It could be, like I said, a new relationship, a new job that's taking you away from home a little bit longer. So a new schedule that they're adjusting to, everyone's adjusting to during this transformation. And then we have the heart that it's not empty, right? But it's reflecting with the dotted border here that my heart used to be this big and this full for you, but it's only this big right now. Right. But in a playful way. It's like, I don't hate you, just not fully loving you right now. You don't have my full happiness. So look at this. We have patience and planning, right? We need to help communicate back to our pets here that they need patience. This transformation needs planning. That's why your focus might be elsewhere right now at this time, because you got to do the planning. You got to be prepared and help them be prepared. Have bring into their world, right? This bright light. What do you have to bring into their world, or what do you have to clean out or change over for them as well, to be part of this. Oh, look at that, to be part of this. And here she is again, not just she, but sorry, both of them kneeling, right? Looking at each other eye to eye, same level. They got rid of their individual height here, their differences, by kneeling, so that they can see the similarity, so that they know that this is their transformation too. They are part of this. There's going to be reward for them at the end of this transformation as well, right? The cornucopia, the pearl. Yeah. All right. Oh, evolution. Pretty strong story here. Evolution. Extreme blue. This is an evolution in the emotional relationship with you and your pet. The trust and understanding, as we see here with the DNA, right? Your connection, your bond. They need to trust in your bond. You're going to guide them and lead them well. You have their best intentions at heart. This is a transformation you're going through together here. And I don't know why they need reinforcement, that you're thinking of them too, and considering them too. Maybe it's just your schedule. Maybe you're just away from home more than you used to be recently. Actually, maybe I'll bring these down a little closer. I mean, there's lucky number 7 in this pile. And we have the key to abundance here as well. So there's luck that you can, not only win back their heart, right, pump back up to its full size, but I think your bond will be even stronger after this. Sort of your eye to eye, heart to heart conversation. So then we have the power to manifest here, to create together. Here the fresh start, kind of involving them. I wonder if there's a way to just involve them more in what you're doing. wonder what that could look like. Let's see here. So we have this protected from your angels, from your loved ones on the other side, new step. I'm wondering if I don't know if there's something in this routine that you can give them a greater sense of stability, foundation. Um, maybe you took away something old, like here. You dusted out the old dust bunnies maybe too quickly before you replaced it. Maybe they're missing something. They don't understand why they have something else. There's this call here to kind of help them understand that these changes are good changes here. But they need a foundation. They need something brought back or they need you to show them something that will make them realize it's sure footing here. It's safe here. It could. I'm just kind of thinking here before we head into the cards. I'm wondering if it's like a style of blanket that they like, or it's been a while since they got fresh wood chips in their cage. Bring back the type of water bottle they used to have. The new innovative one you got, they don't like. Like maybe it was too much all at once. For example, if you went through a move of residence, as they keep showing me the sort of pillars here, the foundation here, maybe you took the opportunity to like change all their stuff out and give them all fresh and new, and you thought they'd be all excited, but they're kind of like, what the heck? Whereas I'm not truly sure about this. I'm not really, there's a lot of caution here of kind of moving forward with you, a lot of tentativeness. There is a decision that needs to be made here. And maybe the decision is just simply, can you spend more time with me? Because we were talking about your pets here. This is my pulley. This is you're at the point where you need to go left or right, yes or no, up or down. White or black. Are they moving in or are they not? Maybe there's something like that that's happening in your household around your pet right now, but there's this decision here. Okay. And then lastly, we have the Sydney Opera House here. This does reflect a disconnection, so being too disconnected, because for me, being based in Canada, and this represents Australia for me, so significant distance. We saw the feeling of the distance here, right? The pause on your relationship, the pause on doing maybe some things that you used to do together, or it's not as long. The walk here isn't as long. It's also an incoming message. So maybe the incoming message is related to the decision that needs to be made here. Or it's this message here, incoming message from your pet. Get ready, I'm about to tell you what I need. And then you need to make a decision, kind of like a stomping of the foot ultimatum, right? The crossed arms, foot kind of impatiently kind of pawing there. Some of our pets do that, where they kind of huff and kind of grab at you, kind of pull at you. So let's see what they're thinking here in terms of decision needs to be made. Suffering in silence. Well, I'm going to laugh and push back on your pet's souls here, because they're not suffering. By no means are any of your pets suffering. It's just this sentiment that they really want to push forward, like, look at me, I'm just sitting here in the window staring out, waiting for you. I'm all alone on the couch. Like, oh, woe is me, I'm so forlorn. So let's see this decision they're going to force us all into. Okay, we'll start with the first one. Yeah, they're seeking, signs of comfort here, familiarity. a creature of comfort. Your pet is a creature of routine. This change up is not something they're copacetic with. Maybe it was their diet, or maybe you tested something. Maybe you tried a new treat or something, and now every time you give them the same thing, they're looking for this. They're worried that it's not going to be the same thing. Maybe you hid their flea medication for the month in something, and the flavor went off, so they're like, hey, what's going on here? New house, now my food tastes different. All my toys are different. I just want to lay down with the things I remember. I just want to spend my day doing what I remember. And so they're suffering in silence here. I don't know why that's making me laugh so much. I find it so funny. Like, we've all been children, and we're all exposed to children, if it's just through observation. But you know how they kind of like over exaggerate in their body, in their actions, like how they're like they just fluff, or they over exaggerate when they're trying to express their emotions. That's what I'm really feeling here. So journey to wholeness. Yeah, they're bringing me back to the third eye here, your intuition, follow your gut. We have the rainbow here from the angels leading to the heart. So your heart and your mind and your intuition are all working together here, pet owners. As the reading was unfolding, I'm sure you were looking at your pet going, I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you need. And, you're making that decision of what you're going to do to kind of reconnect in here with them and appease them, I guess, a little bit. So that's actually a pleasant little reading here. I kind of like this. Maybe the majority of your pets would be considered children at this time, like children aged, or maybe their personality is childlike, because I just really love this exaggeration here. The flopping on the bed with all their possessions around them, the stuffed toys and stuff. And then this push for you with this ultimatum of, you need to make a decision. How are you going to make this right? So I hope you got the messages you need here to take action. But I'm going to go ahead and clean up. So if you weren't drawn to pile 2 or pile 3, you can just pop away now. And if you're someone who doesn't like to watch the process, you can go ahead and use the timestamp below to pop on into pile number 2's reading. So I'm just going to quickly change these up. Tap into the next group of animal soul energies here. And then we'll bring the charms back as well. All right. So a quick little welcome to those of you that jumped ahead by the timestamps to your pile, your deck, your card that you were drawn to. I'm going to use all 3 decks and the charms just to tune into your animals' energies here. It's regardless of breed, this reading. Your animals are just coming together on the same grievance, the same complaint that they would like to file with all pet owners. Hello, pet parent. I have written you this notice, so we'll see what they have to say. I am going to use all 3 cards, sort of the mix, but we'll start with this card. When we dive into the reading, it'll be our leading card here. So I'll stick with sort of the rhythm that I set with the first group. So we'll do a pile of 3 piles of 3 cards each. And then we'll do some charms on top to really kind of get as much information and clarity as we can from your pets and what they want you to know. What is on their minds? The pet parent annual review survey went out. Your pet's got it in the mail. Mailman, for whatever reason, said, hey, here you go. And now the results are in. Survey results are in. I used to work a lot with surveys, so I'm kind of using that language, that lingo. A lot of us get, the study results in the news. 1 in 4 pets say I don't like the food that you put me on. You know, maybe 1 in 10 pets are saying, I don't like this new vet that you're taking me to now. Or I just don't like this time of year because I know the vet visit is around the corner. So let's see. Who knows why I'm babbling this way? Maybe those themes will come up. I'm not going to be leading. I'm not going to purposely read that into the cards. Mostly my babbling is just me connecting in with your animal's soul energies here, kind of tuning into their various voices, sort of their soul energies, to distinguish sort of one from the other, and when they all kind of rise up like almost like a union meeting, right? Here, I'm into that. Okay, just gonna tune in here to the charms. That's why I'm just kind of fixing them up here. Interesting combo here. That's gonna be interesting to get into. Actually, well, this group too, they're kind of, and I'm saying interesting in that the pairing here is interesting. We have a loss of sense of direction, constantly searching for something. Something's lost. They've misplaced. They've lost something. Okay. Maybe you lost another pet in your home because there's the cutting of the cord here. So maybe some of you drawn to this pile, you're a multi-animal home, and maybe you recently lost one, and they know that too. Okay. Diving into pile number 2 here, we're starting with a kind of swimming upstream. This is a challenge for me. I don't know if it's mobility because I have swimming upstream plus getting outside. Maybe this group of pets are in some kind of therapy or rehabilitation. I know that dogs walk in water for those that are starting to develop or have arthritis or suffered an injury and are in rehab. You know, there's this wish to get outside. This is a charm that encourages to movement, to be active or to get active again. Maybe you've been a little bit more maybe you've just been dealing with things because this is, like I said, I started off with the swimming upstream, the tough times. So maybe if it's not your pet that's been dealing with sort of this injury, there's acknowledgement of you going through this tough time. Maybe you're the one that is recovering, and they're just kind of wondering, what's the timeline here to get active again and to get back outside here. All right, so let's see if the cards are starting to align with that energy. Yeah, there is a state of recovery here, looking back to no mobility and see how she's starting to close that up. She's starting to get ready to move away from that vision. She's putting it in the past, starting to put it behind her, and she's got her fresh quills. She's got her fresh legs here. She's not tied or confined in any way. So maybe your pet is getting close to their full recovery here, or their body is starting to really respond well to whatever new therapy, new adjustment you've done here in their lifestyle. I mean, it could just be something like you've started to get more active, or maybe you've calmed them down a bit. It could be the the opposite, where you've had to get them to kind of slow down here and just do more go with the flow kind of movement. Or you made things easier for them. You've gone from a home with a lot of stairs to maybe like a ranch style home where everything's on one floor. You're going from tough times to quick and easy here. Tough times to quick and easy. Whether it's you or your pet. I don't know why this is a grievance. other than maybe what's the game plan here? When does start moving happen? Because again, she's not moving yet. Oh, wisdom. Okay. And see the I was going to say koala for some reason, but it isn't. I believe it's a Yorkie, a white, or maybe a white West Terrier here. I wonder why I wanted to say koala. Maybe look up the animal spiritual meaning for koala. I wonder if that connects in with wisdom in some kind of way. But see how they're looking up at you? And I was saying, what's the game plan here? What's the latest? It might not be you. This could be the vet. I believe in the intro when I was babbling and connecting with the energies, I was talking about this new vet. Who is this new vet? Because the family's over here, right? And they're kind of waving him and greeting him over. And here he comes in with the wisdom. Aha, I know how to get your animal here through the last steps here, or this is the incoming news of full recovery, right? Yes, the vet's gonna say I can go back to the dog park now. I mean, this could be as simple as your animal, your pet was recently spayed or neutered, right? I mean, this could be them simply going through that innocence of, okay, when's this cone getting off? When do I get to run around and be back outside and be able to scratch my back leg or lick my back leg? We have internal explorer. And her mouth here is almost connected to her paw. And I just kind of jokingly talked about licking a hind leg. So maybe they're looking at a wound or incision point, right? If you've had blood tests or anything, or they've had an IV recently. I also think your pet, like humans, they have a strong sense of self. So I think they're even just kind of feeling themselves out internally here, not just physically, but emotionally. Like, am I ready? I want to get active, but am I ready? Very human-like thinking here in terms of preparedness, um, seeking this knowledge. Right? You have a pet that likes to know what's going on, and maybe their behavior is like that. They kind of watch the TV with you. They stick their head in and look at the book pages or the computer screen, or they're reading your text messages with you. They want to know what's going on. When you leave a room, they're in that room with you. They're hot on your heels here. Or flying in, right, with the quills. They're hopping around or landing on your shoulder. What are you doing? Some beautiful curiosity here. Okay. Wow, I couldn't even pick that up. So maybe again, that difficulty. I will be literal just for a second because it is a pet reading with the scissors here. So I did say spayed or neutered. Maybe they just went through a minor operation. There or some kind of procedure where they know they got cut. It could just be, while they were at the vet getting the news, you took the opportunity to trim their nails, something. I wonder if they're also referencing this cutting of a connection, because this charm is about cutting a connection. And I had made reference to a new vet, so maybe a lot of you that are drawn to this reading, you have made that change, and it's sort of for the better, or you just asked for another diagnosis, or you went back and how multiple vets work in the same office, but the other vet kind of walked in to give the news. So at least to your pet, they feel like they saw someone new. So they're acknowledging sort of the change up here and personnel. Or like I said, maybe there's a change in your home. Because when I was first touching this pile, I was connecting in with the sense of loss and the cutting of that connection. So again, it could have been a loss of another pet in the home here. So there's this searching. This is my searching dash hound, looking for something constantly on the search for something. So I'm not sure what your pet here is constantly looking for. Maybe if it's a recent loss, they're still smelling around or flying around, swimming around, looking around. Where did they go? I know you told me, but I woke up and it's a new day. Maybe they're here. Tinkerbell here, my little fairy, is also a sense of loss. Um, Again, a loss of something misplaced, something misplaced as well. So maybe they just misplaced something, and they're using this reading to voice it, because this is the complaint reading. So we already have what complaint number one. What's the timeline here on getting active again together and moving around, and my ability to feel completely healthy and whole. There is a physical um, um, limitation here that they're acknowledging. Okay. They are like hugging goodbye here. Um, kind of playing with the collar. I don't know if you went through a split in your relationship, or you moved away. So there was time spent saying goodbye to family members, friends, and they kind of went through that as well. They were also receiving the goodbyes as well, and can't wait to see you again soon. Maybe you had a prolonged stay or visit with someone. Maybe you needed to crash for a few months here or there. And there's sort of the gentle goodbye here, because it's a very loving, gentle, supportive embrace here. So I don't think this is like a rocky divorce or anything, but um, the pet was also part of the goodbyes here. So we have the third eye chakra. Your pet's acknowledging the strength of their tuition, their intuition here. So really knowing their internal body, knowing something's up, something's going on. They were very aware of this ending. We saw this here. They're aware of the ending. I'm wondering why they're telling you how smart they are. I don't know if you're not talking to them. Like, just talk to them like they're a human, right? Just use conversation. Maybe they want you to kind of walk them through the steps of grieving here, right? The better understand why goodbye had to happen. Oh, communication co-creation. Okay. Yeah, here if you're more than one pet parent in the home, right? You're kind of coming together, almost like you would a parent with a child. Kind of sit them down and look where you're focused. You're focused here on the emotional healing. So your pet wants some conversation with you so they can heal here emotionally, deal with this sense of loss here that they're feeling. They've misplaced something. That, or you've replaced something. Maybe their favorite toy unfortunately was lost in the park. So you're just like, I'm sorry, I really don't know how to find your ball in the park. I know that was your favorite ball, so we're gonna go pick out a new ball together. You know, I do feel like if it's a bird, if you have birds, I feel like maybe they lost one of their bird mate, because the necklace here, it looks like those little bells that they like to kind of hit and play with, right? They like to ring the bell. Okay. So your pets are coming in with sort of the third topic here. So we have topic one, topic two. Issue number three from the survey here is they want you to stop doing something here related to kind of hot coldness, or this could be the anger emotional space. So maybe they're picking up on frustration, confusion, Maybe your emotions are changing quickly, or there's something related here to heat that they want you to stop doing. So let's see. Stop doing warmth, heat. My cupcake is a warning of like indulgence. Um, kind of making things seem like not as they are, like not necessarily covering up, but like misrepresenting things. I'm not sure why they want you to stop indulging or misrepresenting things. I wonder why they think you are. And then when I touched the elephant, I felt like I was watching a child like storm out the room. I don't know why. You know, they were unhappy with what they observed, what they saw. Um, you know, maybe you're indulging in a pastime or something you enjoy, and there's been an uptick in that. So if you're like, you know, streaming services, for example, are starting to release full series and whatnot, right? The start of July, the start of June, a bunch of things drop, right? So they're like, ugh, you know, they're gonna start indulging, stop doing that, and they're like walking out of the room. Yeah, look at them like banging and clanging, right? Like kids, pots and pans, being a nuisance, getting all up in your face. Look at me, pay attention to me. Uh, you know, it's summertime here in Canada, so I don't know if you're like out in the backyard sitting by the fire, camping, you know, having a couple drinks, and your pet's like, what? Hello, hello, I'm here. You know, there's a lot of noise making, you know, a lot of wrestling. Maybe they're being mischievous and acting out. My little fairy here is also mischief. But I feel more just like noise. Like if they're there's someone I love on YouTube that has these beautiful Dobermans, and the other day I watched a quick short where every time he went to watch the TV, actually turn it on, that's when the dog would start chewing his noisiest toy. It was almost like in perfect sync and rhythm, and nothing was leading. He was just kind of catching him on camera doing it, right? So it's kind of that. You make noise, I'll make noise. Like when you're around a child and you're talking, and then the child like talks over you, right? There's some competition going on here for between your pet and what you're starting to give more of your time to, and that's why they're kind of storming off out of the door here. So we have rest and rejuvenate. A lot of healing here, again, emotional healing. I'm really getting Archangel Raphael's kind of healing energies here. Maybe this is what you're indulging in. I did just start with an example of the streaming, binging, right? We kind of just sit. We're more um, immobile. You know, maybe there's a game release, and you're playing that game a lot because you're trying to finish all the levels. So they're aware that you're focused on something else, and it's not them, and they want your attention. Crown chakra, the unlimited self. Yeah, they really just want to like get back to play here, get back to some amusement. Maybe you've been not feeling that great. You know, maybe you're the one that's maybe it's not a vet. Maybe you're the one that's been in recovery and healing, and they've been watching that process, which is why they're asking here, what's the plan? You know, let's have a conversation here. Let's communicate. Let's adjust to these changes, sort of the post chapter, the next phase coming out of this period here, and let's create this together, right? Let's have some fun and joy, and let's bring this happiness back into the household. So there's a lot of encouragement here in this last pile to get loud, right? The stomping, like I said, the stomping out of the door. Like picture the noise of an elephant kind of crashing through the wall. It's like the Kool-Aid commercial from back in the day where he would bust through the wall and be like, oh yeah. I did say this with your animal here, your pet getting all up in your face. So they might be doing that, right? They might be busting through screen doors or busting out of their cage, flying the door open. You're like, how did you even get out? Maybe they're leaping over the gate wall that you put up. But there's a lot of commotion here that I see going on just because they want your attention. They just want your attention. They want to talk. They want to play. And they want to know what's up. What's the plan? Okay, so if you were not drawn to group number 3, pile number 3, you can click away now. Just gonna clean up and reset. You can always click back and then hop into reading number 1 if you enjoyed this experience. Now you're curious what might have been in the first group and see what kind of messages were in there from your pet for you. Okay. So quick welcome to those of you drawn to pile number 3, deck number 3, maybe even just card number 3. I'm going to go ahead and start shuffling. We're going to do 3 piles of the 3 cards, but we'll start the cards by connecting in first with the cards you were drawn to. But I'm also going to include charms on top as well. All right, so let's see. Let's see what kind of bone to pick your pets have with you. I've reached out, I've asked, and they're gonna come in. Well, since you asked, I would like my pet owner to know. Okay, maybe we'll do this card next. Ooh. Yeah, kind of an open book there, right? They're just kind of wanting to let's go card by card by card here. I got a very therapy session vibe here going on with your pet's energy. The sitting back, crossing the legs. Like I said, well, since you asked, like I really have that vibe. Like, let's get into this. Let's get into this conversation. So maybe your pets have been holding these grudges. Maybe these are more grudges. Because I did say bone to pick. So usually if you're using that language, you've been kind of hanging on to something, and now's your opportunity to let it all out. So I'm just going to rearrange quickly so we read them in the order that feels correct. And let's get our charms going. We'll just see what they're discarding, and then we'll get into it. Oh, we got some family stuff here, legacy. I don't know if your household is a household where you have the generations. You have the child of, and you're a household that does that. So maybe you have a few generations. And if it's not the animals, maybe the humans in the household there's multiple generations represented. So going beyond just parent-child, so it would be like grandparent, grandchild. Okay. So starting with our first cards here, just making more room. We got a lot of cards. So starting off, I was saying I was getting family right away. This is my legacy here, my lineage. I'm definitely getting the generations again, the sort of passing on. Maybe they're just acknowledging this because they want you to connect in with the reading in the pile so that you hear the messages, or this could be a grievance that your household has now multiple generations in it. Like I said, maybe you just welcomed in, right? Maybe your parents or grandparents have come in. Maybe you're newly married, so your partner has come in, or you have a new child, right? With the baby prince here, the mold. So there's acknowledgement here of the numerous people, or the pets. Like I said, your pet might be one of, and it's generational. So they might be the oldest of, and then there's two others, or another. Their child is in your home. But for a grievance reading, why is your pet upset with you? This is quite a beautiful heart that they've chosen. It's my follow your passion, manifest. So maybe they're acknowledging that this was a decision that you made, right? I'm making this decision. Maybe you had that conversation with them, like, "Hey, buddy," or "Princess, we're gonna have some new people in our environment, and they're gonna love you just as much as I do." Or your little baby here is gonna stay with us. We're not adopting this one away. I feel like you've had that intelligent conversation with them. Unfurling back to love, heart chakra. So if anything, perhaps their grievance is, does this mean less love for me? Or maybe they feel like there's a bit of stress, because I'm drawing up here to a little bit of healing here on the emotion space. So maybe they're feeling a little bit stressed because there's an increase in their sense of accountability and protection of these new individuals, or the additions to the home. They're increasing their heart chakra. They're welcoming them in, but now it's like, ooh, my anxiety, my stress is a little triggered right now. You've triggered me, Mom. You've triggered me, Dad. Oh, and they've paired that with the sacral chakra. So yeah, they're really just kind of tuning in here. They need some support here to tune in and understand this new rhythm, kind of start to build a connection with these new members. I'll just say members so that we're all inclusive here. New members of the household, or the new people coming and going. Visitors, I should say, guests kind of coming and going. I don't know, I'm getting choked up here. Oh, look at that. Celebration. But see the home, right? We have the 4 posts here of the home, and it's packed, right? They stretch across. She's even kind of squeezing out here a little bit. But they're celebrating. So they're like, "Woo, I got these new members of my pack." There's the size of our family has grown. This is great. I am celebrating. I got new bonds to make, and it's stressing me out a little bit here. So that's probably why we got this. They chose this beautiful, whimsical love, because they are welcoming in the changes here, the growing size of your home. They realize it's family. Like I said, whether it's part of your pet's family, it's your family members. So now we have moving on to message 2, we have a request here about being active, being outside, being able to touch the earth, touch the grass. I don't know if you live in a more cement or hard ground environment, or similar to myself, you may have just gone through a seasonal weather moment where it was kind of back-to-back days of unable to kind of go outside and spend the time that you usually do out there. But there's a kind of request here to get active again, get outside, play. I want to play. I want to feel the elements. I want to feel the air. I want to feel wind. I want to feel wind. I want to feel kind of Mother Earth here. They want to feel the elements. I also think they believe, when they are connected to these elements, when they're being active and they have sort of that playtime, their world is less chaotic. They're not spinning around as much, which makes sense. You're going to be focused on them, so sort of this request to have a little bit more peace and less chaos, and they're finding that outside. So out of the home environment, naturally, there's more bodies inside of it. So the abundance of space that outdoors provide. And then we have an ending, a new beginning. We have a connection lost or cut or completed, and this new beginning, end of a new chapter, new beginning. I think this fits naturally if your home life, your environment has increased. Obviously, you have an ending, and then you have that new beginning. Life force energy. Look at that. Look at that beautiful new beginning here. I don't know why they're asking you for this restart too. Maybe they want to be more involved in your new beginning. You know, include me too. They're jumping out of the birthday cake here, right? Like, surprise! I want to be more involved with this too. You know, I love these people too. I love this new member of my family too. So if it is their own child, maybe you're for whatever reason they need to be separate right now, but they kind of want to be more involved here. You know, I want to be part of this new, wondrous kind of creative world. And we also see a lot of nature here too, right? So we've got the call back to kind of getting out and being in nature here, touching the elements. Spiritual strength. And look at the energy your pet is expelling on sort of holding up the foundation here, you know, the protection. Look at the amount of protection they're leveling up here for your home. You know, the extra bravery and courage they're tapping into right now. Sort of this buildup of energy. Maybe that's why they need to get outside more, either to connect in to get more of this energy, or to kind of release it for a bit, right? The story of Atlas the Titan, where he, you know, is able to take the globe off for a short period. You know, it's carried by others while he helps, and then he takes the burden back on, right? So there's this give and take. You know, I don't mind protecting and helping to protect all these extra bodies, but I need moments of freedom and release. You know, I need to get out there and just run through the water, fly through the air for a bit, twirl around on your finger, right? Let's go for a car ride, that kind of thing. Yeah, look at them, right? They just want to kind of jump off here and have a moment of solace. You know, they're leaving this new addition, you know, that's kind of come into their space, and they're stepping away for a while. It's just a little while, right? They just have a little picnic basket that they're taking with them, just one toy. You know, they definitely plan on coming back, and we got the air here again. Maybe there's an issue right now with fresh air. Maybe the air conditions in your environment have changed just from, you know, other bodies, so perfumes and shampoos, and, you know, everybody has their own different scent. So maybe this is them just adjusting and identifying which scent goes with who. Because there's also the multiple crystals here, right? Like a family tree kind of growing here. So maybe just be aware of, you know, whenever possible, have a fan or a window open, or get them out in fresh air. There's something here bothering their scent, their scent of smell. They're definitely asking for fresh air, or fresher air, some cool breeze. Maybe your place is too hot. Maybe they just need some cool breeze going. Okay. And into our final pile here. I think it'll be on camera. Just maybe do a quick adjustment. Make sure. Okay. So we have social gathering, feasts, paired with milestone, a new beginning, a new friendship, a new beginning, sort of forgiveness here. Maybe I'm leaning more into this ask for forgiveness. I'm just trying to tune in because, like I said, this is an ask for complaints. So I'm wondering why there's a request here for forgiveness as I'm touching the people here. They're kind of reaching out to make friends. I don't know if maybe your pet, through adjusting to these new um, sort of the new person or pet that came in. I don't know if maybe they feel like they did something and they're saying, I'm truly sorry, I didn't mean to, like um, nipping or peeing somewhere or breaking something. Um, Maybe they were told to like get out of the way, right? You know, maybe but there's this ask for you to like to forgive them and sort of their involvement with these people, these new bodies in the home. I feel like they feel like they did something, and they did something at the start. I don't know how long ago sort of the changes to your household happened and this new change happened, but I feel like this kind of, I was sorry. I don't think you needed to discipline me so badly. Like, why did you snap at me to get out? I was just trying to help you with this big change, this milestone with my 2018 charm here. So it's a significant change, this new energy, but they are apologizing. They are acknowledging here that I did something wrong, but they're bringing it up because they feel like maybe the reaction was a bit more harsher here than it should have been. But I feel like you never would have meant it to come across as harsh as they received it. Yeah, we have water overflow. I think they're overthinking this. It's kind of imprinted on their mind when we're talking about pets. So a scenario, a situation. Maybe they were, maybe their butt was shoved or pushed a little bit too hard, or maybe they hit or ran into a moving box. They're really drawing me in here to all of her limbs. So again, I don't know if they stepped on you stepped on their paw, or they, like, again, bit a hand, or gave a cold reception to one of the new members here. But I feel more like there's, again, this sort of outpouring of emotion, but they've been overthinking this, your pet. So you kind of need to help them understand here that that they didn't mean it, or that you didn't mean to, they did nothing wrong, really. Sort of they're saying sorry to you, but kind of accept it and say, I'm sorry to you. Like, I'm sorry. So you have destiny here. And look at she's holding on to the heart here. And sort of this willingness to be vulnerable. I think that's both you and your pet. The pet was willing to be vulnerable and acknowledge, I'm not perfect all the time. I realize that. And you're kind of saying it back to them as well. So there's this duality of shared healing here that's possible, that's available to you. Oh, look at the balance coming back into play here, right? Justice, fairness, but just the balance of sort of your bond, right? If there was any recent disciplinary action that maybe your pet hasn't been responding or acting the same around you. So if you have this, I know you're sorry and I'm sorry too, just quick conversation, I think you'll immediately get back to this. Both hearts are equally warmed. We're back to a good state. We're back to a good place. Their grudge here, their grievance is sheathed, right? Um, they're they're kind of holding out the olive branch here too as well, right? They're requesting from you, can we get back to this place? I want to get back to that more balanced space with you. And it's sort of through this apology that's going both ways, pet to parent, and parent back to pet here, as it relates to the recent changes in your household. Well, maybe I did put them off camera a little bit. So yeah, so those are your messages for those of you drawn to pile number 3. Hopefully you can connect with your pet and sort of take the next positive step here, and we'll connect back in on the next pet messages.